Back to the Denver Radio Real Estate Show. I am so glad you guys could tune in, and I hope you stay with us throughout today's show here because we've got Tim Canty joining us here. And Tim is an attorney that specializes in a variety of areas that attorneys do frequently, but a lot in real estate, credit, bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales, all that kind of stuff. Am I kind of right, Tim?
That's right. We help people deal with their financial situation, whatever it is.
That's great. And you know, the reason I asked Tim on the show, you guys, I got to be honest with you here, is that I get a ton of inquiries from rent-to-own programs or about rent-to-own homes and how you can go ahead and do that. And so I like to try to explain that in some different classes that come up there. But often when I talk to people, they're interested in the rent-to-own method, you might say, because of course they are credit challenged. And a lot of times you need some extra help from professionals that can help you with that. And by the way, I do not mean a credit repair agency. Run, do not walk, run from those folks there. You want the real pros that can absolutely help you, and sometimes you can help yourselves. Isn't that true, Tim?
That's exactly right, and a lot of it is common sense, but people aren't aware of how our lives are FICO score driven these days.
You know, I love to tell people that we live in a credit driven society, and I'm sure, Tony, with your experience there in real estate as well, you certainly know that as well.
Yes, I do.
You know, you can't buy anything without having credit. Very rarely do we pay cash or write checks.
Well, if you have enough cash to buy a house, you don't need me and you don't need you.
No. Well, yeah, you need me. I still need to help you find it.
Yeah, okay.
That's if there's one around, you know? Okay, but you guys, hey, listen, I found this article in the paper the other day about millennials, you know, the millennial population, that population between 18 and 34, that said that their credit rating knowledge is not very good. They don't know a whole lot about how the credit system works. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about here. They said that millennials know less about the range of businesses that use credit scores, such as utility companies, cell phone providers, home insurers, landlords. And do you know also, Tim, I'm sure you do, but a lot of employers use your credit score these days.
Employers, insurance companies, lenders, your FICO score really runs your life these days to a large extent. And as the father of 4 millennials between 18 and 29, I know that they don't know much about this.
No, I've got a couple of those myself there. And so we're helping them, you know, we're helping them, educating them, and trying to get them on the right path here while they can do that, though. So taking that credit is very seriously. And you can't, when you go to borrow credit there's nothing that the lender and whoever your creditor is, they found out just about everything but your blood type, and I would not dare say one of these days I might be finding that out. So anyway, let's talk real quickly about what a FICO score is, Tim. Go ahead.
Okay, well, FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company. It's a private company that developed the credit scoring analysis back in 1958.
Okay.
And they use 5 criteria to determine how creditworthy you are. They look at the amount of debt you have versus the amount of open credit you have. They look at your record of timely payments. They look at the types of credit you have. They look at recently opened accounts. And they also look at the length of your credit history. And that's a big one for millennials because they
don't have a lot.
Don't have much.
No. But you know, it's really a tough thing for people who are, especially that millennial population, and even if you've had people who've come out of bankruptcy or especially bankruptcy, I mean, because you get inundated with these offers, you know, and it's like, oh great, you're really got a good credit here, and take this credit card, take this credit card, take that credit card. And so a lot of people are very tempted, and it sends a certain message, which is not always the most accurate of messages, that you're super credit worthy, and then all of a sudden, you know, you got about 5 or half dozen credit cards that you maybe shouldn't have. But go on.
Well, in some ways, bankruptcy is not the kiss of death it used to be.
Oh, it's not.
And you will get those solicitations afterwards. because they know that you've dumped all your other debt and that you can't do it again for 8 years. So all of a sudden, if you have a pulse, they consider you creditworthy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly there. And from a lending standpoint, in order to qualify to buy a home, you usually have to have that bankruptcy discharged, which depending on which method you go, can be discharged relatively quickly, but they want to see it discharged and credit reestablished and run responsibly for like 1 to 2 years, depending upon the loan that you're going to be acquiring. That's pretty typical there. One of the things I always find that people do when they either have a bad experience or they've gotten a mountain of credit, they simply will either, aside from not paying the credit, they'll go ahead or close accounts. And that's not a good thing to do.
Now, closing accounts will actually negatively affect your credit score. So will opening a lot of new accounts right before you apply for credit. They're looking for stability. They're looking for timely payments. They're looking for someone who has not used more than about 30% of their obtainable credit.
That's right there. So that's really, really important. And they really are wise, you guys, to people who make those trade-offs. Oh, okay, I've got a balance or leftover credit on one credit card here. I'll pay one credit card off with another credit card here. The rollover, I think, is what they call that. They're wise to that system there. So you cannot outfox these people here. So you really want to go ahead and get your credit in order. Now, all that said, I got to tell you, we do have a workshop coming up. It's called How to Improve Credit Scores. So how to improve credit scores, you're going to want to go to our sister website at Red Rocks Institute. That's on Wednesday, June 18th. How to improve credit scores here. So this is great. You're going to definitely want to check that out. Go to redrocksinstitute.com. Check out that class and register for that one right there. It's a free event. We got a whole lot more coming up with you on Property Showcase, so get your pen and paper ready because we're going to be talking about 3 outstanding properties that are on the market and available right now for you to purchase. We'll be right back with more from the Denver Radio Real Estate Show.